Hello, everybody. It's Big Al with some more content from Lord of the Rings Rise to War. Today, I'm going to talk about Saruman. So, as I had said, I am going to be doing some evil commanders. Today is Saruman. Also, one thing I want to point out before I start is remember how I'm always saying you make the most out of what you got. Okay? So, some gearing on some of the commander guys that I do are going to be different from what maybe a whale does or somebody that doesn't have the gear that I do. So I'm giving you my recommendations. Also, the recommendations from what I have. And I'll usually mention a couple items, maybe if I don't have them, what is best in slot. So let's pull up Saruman. So ignore the gear for now, but Saruman is a focused damage dealer. We're going to go into his skills. So they redid his skill set and made Head of the White Council, which was a huge addition to him. Before it was the Palantir Scythe or something like that. But with this skill, for the first 5 rounds, deals 30% focus damage once to 3 enemy formations each round. Yes, that doesn't sound like a lot of damage. even if you max it out 150%. But a couple things to think about. Excuse me. It's to 3 enemy formations. At level 5, deals focus damage twice to the 3 formations each round, but the damage is reduced by half. So you're still doing the same 150% focus damage, but you're doing 75% and 75%. Again, you're thinking, well, that's not a lot. But the point of this skill is to kill White Council. 90% of all formations have, for good side at least, have Gandalf the Grey or Gandalf the White with the White Council. So this is going to strip White Council so fast, which makes it so that your damage dealers in rounds 3, 4, when certain skills pop off, are going to do their full capability instead of having damage mitigation from White Council. His other R0 skill is of many colors. So this is just another focus damage skill. It deals up to 380% to 1 enemy formation. But at level 5 and level 10, deals the same amount of poison damage once again to 1 enemy formation. There's another instance of White Council gone, and hey, if you're doing 380% focus damage, 380% poison damage, then you get to level 10 and you're doing that much burn damage. Once again, that's a lot of added damage. A lot of added instances of battle to strip White Council. So these are all things that work really well together. And then his main focus damage dealing skill deals up to 540% focus damage to 1 enemy. It has a 1 round cooldown. You have a 50% chance to inflict madness on the target when it gets to level 5. So this is to 1 enemy formation. Well, it has a 50% chance to inflict madness on the target. Well, the target's the formation. So that means the commander and the commander's unit. So at 50%, you're almost guaranteed to get one of them, either the enemy's commander or the enemy's unit, inflicted with madness. And then the level 10 damage received by targets affected by madness or stun. So then you have his R4 skill. And honestly, this doesn't really come into play until you're kind of talking in the zenith levels. Okay. attack and defense of orcs, urukai, and evil men units in 3 allied formations, plus up to 10 effect modified by command. Initiative of the target formation unit plus 3, damage dealt by the target's formation unit plus 5. I mean, it's an okay skill, but you're definitely not going to use it unless you are the zenith levels. So when you're building this, first you're going to want, this is very kind of tricky because all of these work so well together. It's hard to just focus on one to max out. So I had conferred with Inferno, King Under the Mountain, as well on the build for this. And he agrees, and it was more of the way he did it, and this is who I've done a lot of testing. You want to put 5 points into Voice of Saruman first. Then you're going to want to put 5 points into White Council. Then 5 points into Of Many Colors. Okay, so you did 5 R2, 5 in the head of White Council, and 5 into Of Many Colors. Because even at level 5, you're getting so much benefit from each of these skills. You're better off getting some benefit instead of just maxing out one skill. Now, after you get 5 in each of the skills, then you go back to the same order. You max out the R2, then you're going to max out the bottom R0. Then any other points you would max put into Of Many Colors. Because again, this one, it is a very powerful focus skill, damage skill. You're inflicting madness. This one you are stripping White Council. This one you're dealing damage and stripping White Council. So those are the things to think about. And on all of his skills, they are not modified. Well, his focus damage dealing skills, not his R4. But the other 3, they are not modified by focus. Okay? They are percent damage. So what you're looking for is you want to cram as much commander focus as you can on him. So now, this is what I have because I just put what together. So for the weapon and the accessory, you want commander damage, which is up here on both of them. Okay, but I need commander focus. This may not be the best in slot, but it's the best that I have. Okay, with this Blazing Tongue. And they're easy to get because you can get them every season from the season store at the end. So, Commander Focus, and Commander Focus, and Commander Damage. Okay? And that's what you want for any damage dealer, whether it's focus or physical damage. You want the Commander Damage. So, then here you have a bunch of different options for the helmet. Okay? Actually, hold on a second. Let me go back to the weapon. The other option for purple gear would be a Carver, because it gives commander damage and it gives commander focus. Okay, now with the helmet you have a lot of options. Some people run Saruman as a tank because he has, he starts off with decent command. So you can run a helmet with command that also has commander focus, unit defense, if you want to kind of run him a little tanky. You could run a swan helm because it's going to give a lot of focus and it also has unit defense. Okay. For purple, you'd be running something like a bone mask because it gives the most commander focus for purple gear. I like, when I can, to have a helmet that gives command to the majority of my commanders when I can do it. Because one thing people need to remember is, here, I'm going to click on command. It helps with the damage received. So damage mitigation, it's going to help with the damage dealt by the commander's formation. And that's the commander and the unit. And for some commanders, healing granted by the commander's formation. It also buffs that as well. Then for the armor, this one you could do a lot of things. I have the Great Plate of the East because that gives, out of my gear, has the most commander focus. So I could even run a golden skin on it if I wanted to, which has some commander focus and unit defense. You know, some people are just going to run something like a Hawbuck because that gives just the unit defense because they want to be a little bit tanky. You know, the Scout's Mail is another option because it does give commander focus, but it gives initiative. And initiative is important when you become higher levels. Whales need to start worrying about initiative. The problem with smaller players, dolphins, free to play, low spenders, if they worry about initiative, they're going to miss out on a lot more of their stats because generally they don't have the equipment to back up worrying about the initiative. That's why I don't bring it up a lot, because my videos are going to be geared to the new players and free to play. Hunter Skin is also doable as an armor for purple for Saruman because it gives commander focus and unit defense. Excuse me. So those are things to think about. You got your skills. You know, you want to do 5 points in each of them and then go back and start filling them in. That way you're getting the most benefits instead of just worrying about maxing out one first and then maxing a second one, because then you're missing out the benefits of the other. And all of his skills tie in so well together. So that's what I got for Saruman. He is definitely a very good focus damage dealer for the evil side. You will see him a lot more in the meta strictly because of this Head of the White Council. That is a huge skill. So that's what you're looking at when you're facing Sauron. That's how I recommend building him, is the 5 points in each of the skills. And then I showed you the gear. So hope you guys liked the video. If you have any comments that you want to add about Saruman, feel free to always comment on my videos or write me personally and I will have a discussion or talk with you. So as always, make the most out of what you got.